What's up, guys? Raziel here, and yesterday we saw the announcement of Final Fantasy XIV's coming expansion, Endwalker, which is going to be coming out fall of 2021. Now, a lot of people are hyped, a lot of people are excited. I'm going to give you my thoughts and my opinion on what we saw yesterday. You know what, let's just stop shooting the shit here and let's just get to the drop so we can talk about it.
I am Raziel.
So, Final Fantasy's newest expansion, Endwalker, has been announced, and it was interesting. I mean, it was. Let me put it this way: I wasn't surprised or impressed by anything really, and I have my concerns about the coming expansion. Pardon the notifications I'm getting, but my biggest issue wasn't so much with what they showed us at all. In fact, what they showed was quite good. The things that concern me the most are things they didn't say, things they didn't show, which, you know, you probably know I'm going to talk about if you watch my most recent video about Final Fantasy XIV. I know that the trailers don't get released in their entirety. They're released over sections, so we just got the baseline cinematic here. I'll leave the link to the cinematic in the description. We won't watch it here. But it was fine. It was, you know, Final Fantasy. You can see that they're pulling a lot of lore and a feel of kind of the end of Final Fantasy IV. So we're going to the moon on this, which is where the Final Fantasy IV the game ended. You know, the mount that you can buy, the first 8-person mount, the Lunar Whale, is from Final Fantasy IV. Fantastic sound to. In fact, it's what's playing in the background right now. Good stuff. So. That's all fine. We got a new announcement of a new job. There's going to be 2 new jobs, one new melee DPS, which I think is odd. I think it's about time for a range, but whatever. And a healing class, which a lot of people are making fun of as is looking like it's like a Gundam, but whatever. Which the game desperately needs another healer class, and I thought it was good that they're making distinctions of their healer classes. So the new class is Sage, which will be a shield healer, as well as Scholar will be a shield healer. And then White Mage, and they're doing a new focus on Astrologian, where there will be the main pure healers, which, you know, people are raging about that a little bit that are healers, and I get their concerns, but it needed to happen. We needed distinctions, otherwise there's going to always be one healer that's going to be left out for the most part, or 2. That won't be the case anymore. I mean, we got, like, you know, the new zones, which this looked, when I first saw it, looked a lot like Gilmore, but you know, it is what it is. Garlemald, which is in a completely wrecked state. I think that's really, really cool. We know we're going to be able to go to Garlemald. Again, but we just got, you know, par for the course. What's expected for a Final Fantasy XIV expansion? Another 10 levels, 80 to 90. Something I predicted last expansion would happen for this one, I was right about, which is the item level and number squish that we're going to see, which is kind of a crux. It's something that's going to happen in any theme park MMO. It adds levels and additional power and makes previous content irrelevant with every new expansion release. It's unavoidable. WoW's done it twice or 3 times now. Final Fantasy XIV's done it the first time. We did get that this is the end of the Zodiac Hydaelyn storyline. 10 years. They seem to push the idea really hard that. This is not the end of Final Fantasy XIV's content. However, or that Yoshi P is leaving, I believe them, but at the same time, I think it's kind of clear that they are going to tell new stories, but I think after that it's going to slow down quite a bit, because I think Square probably has another MMO in mind for the Final Fantasy, maybe Final Fantasy XVII. We'll see. We'll see what happens. I may be wrong. I could be wrong, but I'm just saying, I don't know. They wouldn't have really said that, like, players would have found out on their own that's the end of the Hydaelyn Zodiac story just by playing the content. Announcing it kind of just, to me, seems like a preemptive strike on, hey, Final Fantasy XIV is almost like a few years away from being done as a constant updated MMO with expansions all the time, like how it's been in 10 years it's been around, and it's been a great 10 years. Maybe I'm wrong, I don't know. Again, a lot of, you know, just typical stuff, new crafting recipes. I thought it was funny that they added new small-scale PvP. I mean, no one fucking PvPs. No one cares because it's so bad, but whatever. I mean, of course, new dungeons. they're doing, pulling more lore like Anima from Final Fantasy X, which is all great and grand. I have no complaints about any of this stuff at all, right? In fact, people who have Final Fantasy XIV on PS4 get it for free on PS5. That's fucking great. So just good luck getting a goddamn PS5. But my biggest concerns go back to what I was talking about in my last video, which is they didn't talk at all about any kind of changes that I think the game needs. The game needs meaningful, hard format content. The game needs the 24-man, which it was kind of interesting. I was hoping that they do another cross 24-man with a Chrono Trigger, but that's not going to happen. They're doing one unique to Final Fantasy XIV lore. Great, fine, awesome. It'd be good to see how they do without drawing on different games and different, storylines from other games. It'll be great to see. But again, nothing about how 24-mans will become more relevant. Nothing about challenging 4-man content. Nothing about any kind of change to endgame gearing, other than the fact that they're, in my opinion, and a lot of people are saying this, and I started to notice this with Shadowbringers, but more homogenization, and they're dumbing the game down even more. I mean, what we've seen over the last 10 years, we saw them remove the stat point distribution from characters. They did a lot of changes for Shadowbringers, and some of them are really great. Some of them were like, I don't know. It feels, all the jobs, like all the tank jobs, for example, feel very similar to play. Not 100%. Some of them have some outlying things, but I mainly play tanks, and it feels quite the same. I don't have much of a point of view on the melee or DPS or healers, because I didn't really play them that much, other than Samurai and a little bit of Ninja. But Samurai and Ninja were different enough. But with the removal of belts and just more stat distributions that way, and they were even talking about how they consider getting rid of rings, it just seems like there's more, the game's becoming even more casual than it was. And I know that Savage and Ultimate Raids will never be something that's considered casual content, because it's far from it, but I would love to see them announce some kind of change in how endgame works. I'm not even saying they need to get rid of tomes. They don't need to get rid of that. They don't need to ditch things. They just need to improve it. They need to make it matter, is what the problem is. The problem has always been, in my opinion, is that gear in the game doesn't matter. That's the problem, not how you get the gear. People seem to misconstrue that. Like, I'm not ever complaining about tomes or how you get gear, how you farm gear. That's not the issue. The issue is that the gear doesn't matter unless you plan on doing ultimate rates. And come on, what percent of people actually do that? A very, very small percent. Anyway, I definitely will be playing this. I mean, I love MMOs. I love Final Fantasy XIV. I love the game. I definitely want to, to play it and to see the story at least. Because right now, that's the only reason I play 14, which, by the way, I will be streaming it more again soon. I'm still playing WoW as well. You can play more than one MMO at a time. I know it's fucking amazing and incredible and unheard of, but I do it. You should try it sometimes. But anyway, guys, what are your thoughts and opinions about what I've said, about what your reaction was? To me, it just seemed pretty lukewarm. Everything seemed like, yeah, that's about what an expansion from Final Fantasy XIV has always had and always been. And we're just seeing other things that I predicted, like a number squish and stuff like that, which is unavoidable. And again, though, my biggest concerns were things that weren't said as opposed to things that were. But anyway, guys, thoughts, opinions down below. Leave a comment. I read all the comments that get left, even if they're fucking shit posts. I'll still read them. I still am streaming at least 2 days a week, sometimes 3 days a week. You can see my schedule, my Twitch link on the screen now. We'll see how long it takes before I get banned from there for having opinions that are not the norm. But anyway, guys, thanks so much for the support. As always, my friends, keep it real.